This is a reading from An Introduction to the Devout Life by St. Francis de Sales. Chapter 17. Friendship. First, of bad and frivolous friendships. Love is the chief amongst the passions of the soul. It is king of all the heart's impulses. It draws all things to itself and makes us like to what we love. Therefore, give good heed that you love nothing wicked, else you will become altogether wicked yourself. And friendship is the most dangerous of all love, because other affections may exist without mutual communication, but friendship being entirely founded upon this, it can scarcely exist without at the same time involving participation in the qualities of him towards whom it is exercised. All love is not friendship, for we may love without being loved, and then love but not friendship exists. For friendship is mutual love, and unless it is mutual, it is not friendship. Again, it must not only be mutual, but the parties who love must be aware of their reciprocal affection. Otherwise, it will still only be love, not friendship. And further, there must exist between them some communication as the groundwork of friendship. Friendship varies according to the variety of these communications, and they vary according to the benefits interchanged. If these are vain and false, then the friendship is vain and false. If they are true, then the friendship will be true. And the more excellent those qualities exchanged, the higher will the friendship be. For as that honey is the best which is gathered from the choicest flowers, so that love which is founded on the choicest communication of good gifts will be the purest. And as there is found in Heraclea of Pontus a poisonous honey which, being gathered from the aconite which abounds there, stupefies those who eat it, so that friendship which has its foundation in false and vicious communications is itself wicked and false. Friendship arising from the mere gratification of the senses is utterly gross and unworthy of that name, as is that arising from vain and superficial merits, which also depend upon the senses only. By sensual gratification I mean that, chiefly and directly connected with the external senses, such as the pleasure of beholding beauty, listening to a pleasant voice, and similar things, and by superficial, vain merits, I mean certain qualities and accomplishments which foolish men call virtues and perfections. How many girls, women, and young people do not hesitate to say such an one is very amiable, and has great merit, because he dances well, and is skillful in all games, or dresses, or sings, or talks well, or is very handsome. Amongst charlatans, the greatest buffoon is the best man. Now, all this concerns the senses only, and friendship arising from such sources must be sensual, vain, and frivolous, deserving rather to be called foolery than friendship. Such are the friendships of youth, of young men, which are based on personal appearance, dress, fashion, idle conversation, and are fit only for the age when virtue and judgment are as yet unformed and in the bud. Accordingly, such friendships are but of passing duration, and melt away like snow before the sun. Chapter 18. Flirtations. When these foolish friendships exist between persons of different sex without intention of marriage, they are called flirtations, for being mere abortions, or rather shadows of friendship, by reason of their excessive vanity and imperfection, we can call them neither love nor friendship. But by their means the hearts of many are taken captive, and entwined with one another in vain and foolish affection, having no root but the frivolous intercourse and despicable attractions of which I spoke before. And although these foolish love passages usually end in carnal pleasures and vile lusts, such is not the original intention of those who practice them, else they would no longer be flirtations, but manifest impurities. Often years may elapse before those who are attached by this folly commit anything contrary to actual chastity, only steeping their hearts in wishes, desires, sighs, coquetries, and other similar follies and vanities, and this upon various pretexts. There are some who have no other aim than the indulgence of their hearts in inspiring and being inspired with love, therein following their amorous inclinations, and considering nothing in the choice of their love but their taste and natural instinct, so that on meeting an attractive object they do not examine it into its inward life or deportment, but begin a train of follies, entangling themselves in a net, whence afterwards it will be hard to escape. Others let themselves be led by vanity, esteeming it a glorious thing to take captive and bind hearts in the bonds of love, and these make their choice through vainglory, preparing their snares and laying their nets in spacious, exalted, rare, and illustrious quarters. Others are led by their amorous inclinations and vanity at once, for although their hearts be naturally inclined to love, they still seek to turn it to the advantage of their vainglory. All such friendships are bad, foolish, and vain, tending to sin, bad because they distract the heart and its affections from God and from those to whom love is due, foolish because they have neither reason nor foundation, vain because neither profit, honor, nor satisfaction ensues. On the contrary, they waste time, tarnish honor, and give no satisfaction but that of an eager search and hope after they know not what. For it is a universal rule with these contemptible, weak minds that there is always some undefined wish which can neither be defined nor relieved, but is forever burdening their hearts with distrusts, jealousy, and uneasiness. St. Gregory Nazianzen, writing against vain women, speaks admirably on this subject. He addresses women, but his words apply equally to men. The natural beauty suffices thy husband, but if it is bestowed on several men, as a net spread out to catch many birds, what will become of it? Thou wilt be pleased with him who is pleased with thy beauty. Thou wilt return glance for glance, look for look. Then will ensue smiles and light words of love, stealthily indulged at first, but soon you will grow bolder and go on to open liberties. Beware, O my tongue, of saying what will follow. Thus much, however, I will say. Whatever young men or women do amid these vain indulgences will be dangerous. The chain of trifles holds together, one link involving another, as iron is drawn by the magnet, leading many after it. Oh, how wisely does this great bishop speak. What are you trying to do? To inspire love? Well, but it is impossible to impart without likewise receiving it. The player is trapped in his own game. The herb of Proxis kindles into flame as soon as it approaches fire, and it is the same with our hearts. As soon as they behold a soul inflamed with love for them, they burn for it. It will go some way, you say, but not far. Alas, you deceive yourself. This love fire is more active and penetrating than you think, for you imagine that you receive but a spark, and you will be amazed to find that in a moment it has seized your heart, reduced your resolutions to ashes, and your reputation to smoke. The wise man asks, who will pity the charmer who is bitten by a serpent? I say with him, foolish man, do you pretend to charm love as you will? You would play with it, but it will sting and bite you cruelly, and everyone will mock you who sought to charm it, and with false courage attempted to take a viper into your breast, and so have spoiled and lost both your honor and your soul. Oh, how great an error to stake the treasure of your soul on so frivolous a game! Truly, God asks man only for his soul only for the will only for love. Alas, we have not nearly as much love at command as we require. I mean that we need infinitely more to love God worthily, and yet, wretched as we are, we squander it on vain frivolities as though we had enough and to spare. Surely that great God who demands our entire love in gratitude for our creation, preservation, and redemption will demand a strict account of all these idle amusements. If we have to give a rigid account of every idle word, how will it be with our foolish, hurtful friendships? The walnut tree injures the vine and the soil where it grows, as, owing to its great size, it absorbs the nourishment of the earth, which thus becomes insufficient for the support of the other plants. Its thick foliage overshadows them entirely, while persons who pass by, being attracted by the fruit, and tread and crush the ground around it. Thus, foolish flirtations have a similar evil effect on the soul. They occupy and absorb it, so that it can perform no good work. and the leaves, that is, idle amusements, conversations, and triflings, engross all its leisure. And finally, they invite many temptations, distractions, suspicions, and other evil consequences, trampling down and spoiling the heart. In short, these flirtations not only banish heavenly love, but even the fear of God. They enervate the mind, tarnish the reputation, and though apparently the evil is but trifling, it is a very plague spot in the heart.